All right, everybody. On behalf of Professional Title, I want to welcome you guys to the mobile app that you need to get going and get using before the end of the year. We are going to focus specifically on our app today. For whatever reason, this is one of the most underutilized pieces of technology that all of our companies have. So I am fortunate enough to travel all over the state, all over the place, and teach and train. And we have a lot of great stuff. We have a lot of great people. But we've had this app for so long, and for whatever reason, people just don't use it. And I don't really know why, because it is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. I use this on my own real estate team in my own real estate offices for years. And I could never figure out why people are not taking advantage of this. So my goal today is to make sure you take advantage of every feature that we have. And for some of you, I know this might be the first time you're using it or playing with it or even seeing it or hearing from it, and that's okay. I do like to do these like once a quarter usually. And I will have this recording that you guys can go back and watch if you want. So what you want to do is, if you don't have the app already, in the chat, I posted the link. It is very simple. You just go to professionaltitleagent.com, and on any device, if you just go to that, it will bring you to the correct place. So if you're on a phone, it will take you to the App Store to download it. If you're on something that only allows the use of the browser, it will allow you to just use that. And if you're on a computer, if there's a desktop version, it will allow you to use that. One thing I want to make sure you do is I'm going to do a little foundational setup here. And then once we get through that, I'm going to go through all the features kind of one at a time. On the top left, when you're inside the app, you're going to see the little kind of hamburger menu. When you click on that, the top option is going to say the word profile. And what I want everybody to do is make sure you get that profile filled out, because that stuff will kind of translate into all the other pieces of the app. And if you don't have anything in here, it's going to go wrong. I'm on a test account, so you're going to see my photos are always just like this stupid house logo and kind of boring stuff. But what you want to do is the left one should be your headshot. The right one should be your logo. If you have a team logo, a brand logo, a brokerage logo, whatever, left one headshot, right one logo. So get those uploaded. Make sure you have your name, your phone number, and your email correct, because every piece of marketing that I show you how to create is going to have those on there. And if you have a website or a landing page, make sure that's on there as well. If you want that to be your social, that's totally fine, like your social media. If you have a Facebook page, if you've been in any of my classes and I've taught you Linktree, this is a great spot to throw your Linktree. Your company info, this is going to be your broker information. Okay, so where you work. And then at the bottom, you're going to throw in your license number if you have that or if you know that, and then you're going to hit save. Below that, in that same menu, a couple other options that you'll see account settings, so how long you have it, and if you have premium, tutorials, so if you want to go back and watch videos after I teach this, you can. There's a support section. There's a share the app section if you want to share this with your clients, which you can. The notification section, I would strongly suggest turning on, because that will alert you, first of all, anytime that we do anything new or put anything new in there, it will show up. And also, if you use any of the lead generation calculators, which I'll teach you later, it will share those notifications through that as well. And then the estimate section, this is going to be if you save anything. I'm going to show you in every step of the way where you can save stuff. So if you want to save stuff for clients, this is where you would do that. So just make sure you kind of lay that groundwork first, lay that foundational piece first so that you know what you're doing. And then it'll be a little bit easier to kind of work through. I want to say one thing. There's 75% of this app is free. 25% of it is paid for. You do not, I stress again, do not need to have the paid for session. I am going to cover that last. So if you want to bail out on that section, you're more than welcome to. That being said, I will tell you the only reason we charge for this is because the CFPB forces it. It is not a choice. If you give certain types of media, certain types of graphics, certain types of value, you have to charge for it to be legal, period. So what we chose to do is charge the bare minimum that CFPB allows us to charge, which is 99 cents a month, which is the cheapest thing in the App Store. And if you buy it all together a year at a time, it's $10 a year. Cindy, Kent, and I do not make money if you guys do this. We don't get bonused. There's no end of the year trip that I'm aware of for most app downloads or sales. So we're not trying to just pitch this to you to make money. I personally think this app is an absolute no-brainer, and the premium section is a no-brainer, because if you're someone that struggles with social media content, it's just really easy to download and use and have a piece of content every day in like 5 seconds. But again, if you want to sign off at the premium part, I promise I will not be offended. And I am not trying to take you from your $10. I promise. That being said, let's dive in. On the first section we're going to do is 100% free. On the bottom left, you're going to see the word buyer. When you click on that word buyer, it's going to bring you up all the buyer options. And I'm going to walk you through the basics and then kind of the advanced. And this class that we're going to teach today, it could take me a day to teach, to really use every feature. And I'm going to squeeze it into 45 minutes. So if you want more of this, or you want it in person in your office, or in a group, I'm more than willing to do that, but we're just going to fly a little bit today to get through everything. On the top, you're going to see add address. If you have an address that you're working on specifically, I would suggest that you put that in, because it will link up with HomeLink and it will plug in the taxes and allow you to not have to guess or go find those later, which is nice. Then there's the home price, nice and easy, right? Just put the price of whatever house you're looking at or your potential buyer is working on. Then loan type, if I click the word loan type, it'll give me a drop down of all the different kinds of loans. So nice and easy, just pick whatever one makes the most sense. Down payment. On this one, you can put two things, either a percentage or a dollar amount. So if the lender that you're working with says, yeah, they're going to work and put 5% down, fantastic, throw 5% in there. If the buyer says, hey, I don't care what percentage I put down, but I have $38,500 and that's what I want to put into the deal, fantastic, throw that in there. Whatever it is, throw it in. Next is going to be interest rate. It will take once a month, the app updates with the average interest rate of deals that we are doing. This is across the country, 3.125%. What I would suggest is either talk to the lender or figure out what that person's interest rate is going to be, because obviously credit and down payment and term and price and all these other things, are going to play into that factor of the rate. So try to make that as accurate as you can. And term, of course, you're going to know when you talk to the lender, 30, 15, 5, 10, whatever it is. The miscellaneous section allows you to add or subtract values that are going to affect costs. So maybe you charge a transaction fee or a broker fee, or maybe they're buying a home warranty, or they're spending money to fix something that they know is going to be needed because it's FHA and appraisal is going to require it. Whatever. That miscellaneous field is for that. Miscellaneous, whatever you want to throw in there, you can throw in. Hazard insurance. This is your homeowner's insurance. It's going to default to 1.5%. If you have a quote and hey, it's actually going to cost $2,600, you hit the dollar amount and you put in $2,600. So whatever you got, put there and make it exactly as close to accurate as possible. Taxes. If you put in an address, it should pull automatically. If not, and the city they're buying in, you click the button that says RE tax on the left, and it will show you some of the cities that we work in or that we're located in, right? So you can click that and you can put those in there. Or you could look up on the tax records or PAPA or the MLS, hit the dollar amount and say, I know the taxes are $3,400, and put those in.
Hey, Ken, I'm sorry, Ryan, where did you, under RE tax, where did you hit to find the city?
If you touch the little drop down arrow on the left where it says RE tax, it should be on there.
I just get enter price.
Mine pops up like this when I touch it. We'll check on yours after. I'm not sure. You
Okay.
should have a little bump out that shows all the cities, like a drop down. All right, we'll check on that after. Then you go to HOA. When you see the HOA section, there's an A and an M. You have to make sure you get this right. A stands for annual and M stands for monthly. Okay. And if you get one of these wrong, it's going to drastically affect that monthly payment, right? So we want to look at this and make sure we pick A or M, annual or monthly. So if you know that they're looking at a neighborhood that's $250 a month, we're going to type in $250, and on the right side, make sure you have that little M selected for monthly. Then we're going to go down to closing date. And this is very important, guys. Pick as close of a closing date as you can to what's going to be accurate, because this is going to affect prorations, right? So ideally, we don't want to close on the 31st of the year, because that would be not fun. But let's just say we did. We'll put that in there, and then we're going to hit compute. And when we hit compute, it's going to pop us up two numbers. The left side is going to be the monthly payment, blue, principal and interest, lime green, taxes, dark green, insurance, orange, PMI, private mortgage insurance, and reddish kind of color, brownish, HOA. On the right side, the bring to close amount. So blue is their down payment, green is their prepaids, and orange is their fixed cost to close. So that's what they're going to need to take. If we want to scroll down and change any of these things, let's just say you're a great agent, you negotiated them a better deal. We want to change that to 247 from 250. We do that, and it will just adjust. And if you want to look at the detailed closing costs, you can click that and understand where all these numbers are coming from. And all of these are editable in the top right as well. Note that it puts in there as a standard 14 months of insurance, 4 months of taxes, and a half a month of interest. So you can edit all those things, right, based on what your lender may require. But usually to open escrow, right, they do take either a big chunk of homeowners insurance or a big chunk of money up front that needs to go to escrow. Now, this is usually where most people stop using the app if they use it at all. And I want to show you some above and beyond features here because I think you're missing out if this is all you use it for. On the top left, you're going to see something that says Smart Compare. When you click on that, it will show different styles of loans and details on all of those. So if the person said, well, I was thinking about putting down X, but now I want to put down Y, there's some other options in there for you. If you click on estimate again, it'll bring you back. And then if you click on loan details, personally, I wouldn't suggest sharing this with your customers. But if you get that analytical kind of customer that asks for it, this is where it is. This is where it shows you all the interest they'll be paying, all their total payments, the full amortization schedule. So again, a lot of people look at this and as soon as they see that interest amount, they throw up and it kills the deal right there. So you might not want to do this. However, when you get that analytical customer that asked for it, I want you to be able to know that you have it and be able to show it. What's good about all of these things, every one of them, no matter where you're at, every section of this app has an export piece. And that export piece allows you to create marketing within like 2 seconds. And on the buyer side here, it's really great for open houses. It's really great for buyers that you're working with, your buyer consultation, social media. So on the top right, you're going to see a square with an arrow coming up out of it. And when you touch that, it's going to give you a little pop-up that it gives you 4 options: send full report, send geo report, text a snapshot, or save estimate. So from the bottom up, if you save an estimate, this will save to your app this set of numbers for this specific client and this address. So if you need to go back to this, you can. So if you're working with someone that's looking at 3 houses, it's a good idea to save all of them. So you can compare. A text snapshot is exactly what it sounds like, a quick text snapshot summary of what you're looking at. The top 2, in my opinion, is where the gold is. This is where some of the content, especially the free content, comes from. The middle one, send geo report. If I click that and you put in an address, it instantly creates me a piece of marketing based on the local area that's fully customizable. In the bottom right, you can edit your profile and the property details. And there's tons of templates for this. So when I click on templates, I can see and look at and use all of these different ones just with the click of a button. So these are great for like print out flyers to leave at the open house for something that you're doing. They're great for buyer consults. They're fantastic for social media, new listing marketing. You can use any or all of these. And a lot of them have, similar-ish data on them. They're just looking a different way or presented a different way. But there's a lot of cool stuff on here that no matter what your kind of marketing style is, you can use. And again, all of these are free and you can send these out in so many different ways, right? So I can add an address, which would be important, and then I can blast those out. So again, top right corner, hit the square, and that's the geo report. All right, then there's the full report, which is a little less pretty or cute or artsy. These are more numbers based. And again, you can customize these things. Tons of different languages, right? So English, Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Austrian, Arabic, Portuguese, Hindi, and Punjabi. So if you have clients in any of those languages, you got this, which is cool. And then you can also go back to templates and you'll see there's a lot of different templates for this as well. That you'll see some of them in the thumbnails here. You're seeing people's pictures and logos. I'm on a test account, so I don't have any of those plugged in. But when you do, you'll get your picture, your company logo, all your information, your website, your link tree, all that stuff will populate on here. So again, great pieces for open houses, great pieces for buyers, buyer consultations that are all very, very easy to make. And again, this whole section that we just covered is 100% free. So no cost with anything that we did so far. The next section is going to be for sellers. So when we switch over to sellers, a lot of the things look very similar and are very similar. At the very top, again, you have the option to add address, which you can do, again, to pull taxes and data. Then sales price, we're going to put in what we think they're going to sell the house for. Type of loan is the type of loan they have, not the type of loan that the incoming buyer has. This is the type of loan that they have on the property, and it will show all of them, right? Or all cash, meaning they own it. Broker fee is your commission, so put in whatever you want in there. Repairs, this is for the sellers that say, I know I have a broken water heater, I'm willing to give $500 or whatever. And I realize that's not really happening today, but just for the example, it is. Miscellaneous, this is again where you can add transaction fee or any kind of cost of sale things that happen in a transaction. Real estate taxes, again, you should be able to do the city. If not, make sure the price is in at the top, and then you can put in the tax percentage. Loan balance. So one of the things you want to do always when you meet a seller, right, is make sure you get their latest or most recent mortgage statement so you can figure out exactly what they owe and exactly what their rate is, right? That's one of the things we used to do in a pre-qual call is if I knew I was coming to Vinny's house at 2 o'clock, I'd ask him to make sure that he had a printout or a download or a screenshot or whatever of his most recent mortgage statement so we can make these things as accurate as possible. The interest rate is going to be their interest rate, okay? Not incoming, not current market rate. It's their interest rate. So if you know it, plug it in. If you don't, there's a cool feature in here. You can click on the little gear wheel on the right side. And when you turn your phone, you can see based on when they bought it, you could go back year by year and see what the average mortgage rate was at that time. So if they say, well, I don't know, but I bought the house in 2012 or 13, great. You can see what the average is, and you can look at the average, the high or the low, and you can plug that right in and use that as their rate if they have no idea. So I think that's kind of a cool feature. Then the closing date, again, this is going to be huge when they want to close because this is going to affect taxes, which is huge, and prorations for interest. The reissue rate, if you don't know what that is, if the homeowner bought the house within the last 3 years and they have all their documentation and they turn that into us, they can get a little bit of a credit on their title insurance because it's a little bit less of work that we need to do because we don't have to go back as far on the search. Then we're going to hit compute. And when we do that, it's going to spit us out one bubble this time, and that's their net at closing. So the whole circle, the kind of gray, white color is sales price, 300,000. Their loan balance, we paid off, due on sale, 150. The prorated taxes that were owed, 64.91. The closing costs, which are doc stamps in Florida, right? And your commissions and, a couple other things, 23,340. And then their net at close, 120 and change. When we scroll down again, we can change any of these things instantly, and we can go to detailed closing costs to see what the breakdown is of those. Title policy is not a choice, right? It's an algorithm based on sales price. Closing fee is what we charge. Search fee is what we charge. Municipal lien search fee, those are just the fees are what they are. And then other fees, doc stamps. Florida doesn't have state income tax, right? They make money off doc stamps, so it's 70 cents per $100 of every transaction. Repairs were what you put in there. Interest was based on the day that they close, and then commissions will cover all that stuff. So this shows the closing costs. Again, on the seller side, this is where most people stop using the app, and I want to show you a couple of other good features. First of all, very cool is the multiple offer feature. Let's say you're in one of those crazy markets like we are now, where you list something at 300,000, you get 3 offers. One's 300, one is, I don't know, let's just say 295. And one is, I don't know, 305. So we plug all those in and we can see all of them side by side. And of course, we can create a marketing piece for all these side by side to really show your sellers that you kind of know what you're talking about, right? And give them a breakdown of what their net is going to be. One little tip, one of the things I always used to do when I would go on a listing appointment and we would walk in the door, we'd always walk in with something like this with 3 numbers. We would have a bottom number, which is like a fire sale price, a middle number, which is like average market price, and then a high price, which is like a shoot for the stars. We hope we get this price kind of number. And we'd walk in with these 3 because the seller, you're going to coach the seller into hopefully the middle one. They never want to take the low one, right? They always want the high one, but you try to coach them into the middle one. But if you have these nets that you can show them combined, side by side, it makes you look good and you're not trying to figure it out. I can't believe there's still agents that go in with sheets of paper and try to do the math on these. I'm like a math guy and it's not easy to do the math on the fly on these. So make sure you're using the app for this for sure. The other thing, if you go back to the middle and then go to the right, you're going to see the holding cost feature. Again, I realize in this market, this isn't exactly happening, but I like this when you get that seller that's like, oh, I'm going to hold out for $1,000 more. And I don't care if it takes me another month. This is the great feature to be able to kind of combat that, because it will show them, hey, every day that you hold, if you hold 30 days, you're going to lose $13.96 in more money that you're spending. You're not getting that insurance money back, right? You're not getting the tax money back. You're not getting the interest money back. Yes, I get it, principal, and the market goes up and blah, blah, blah. But this is a tool to kind of show them that. And of course, there's a fun marketing piece for this one as well that you can use. So everything that we've covered today so far has been free, and every piece has had a free marketing piece tied to it as well. So I just want to make sure you see those. And if you go back to NetSheet and do the square, you can do 4 things: save the estimate, open the order so you can send it directly to us, which of course we'd appreciate, text them the snapshot or the summary, or send the full report, where when we do the send full report, again, in the templates section, bunch of options that you can customize and create. And in the customize section, bunch of languages, again, that you can mess with and play around with. So far we've covered buyer and seller, both totally free, and both are packed with marketing pieces. Next, I'm going to show you my favorite piece of the free part of the app before we dive into the paid. So my favorite part of the free section of the app is the calculators tab. And you're going to have some in here that are free and some that aren't. Once you unlock premium, they're all free, but you might see some that are free, some that are not. I'm going to give you my 3 favorites. I'm not going to go through every one of these because we'd be on here all day. But my 3 favorites personally are actually the top 3: monthly affordability, rent to buy, and sell to net. And I'm going to explain each of those and how I think you should use them. So monthly affordability. One of the things I always did when I worked with buyers was I tried to help them understand if they were financing, the price doesn't matter. It's the cost that matters, right? If you look at the price of a house, it actually doesn't matter what you pay, because over 30 years or 25 years or 20 years that you're there, you're paying interest, and the numbers are like almost irrelevant. What matters is the cost, meaning what does it cost you every month? If you're financing something, it's the cost every month that matters. And that's why I absolutely love this tool, because people don't think, oh, do I have 500,000 now? Yes or no. If you're working with a cash buyer, I understand that's how it works. I get it. But most people, when they buy with a mortgage. And what they're looking at is, can I afford this monthly? Yes or no? And this monthly affordability calculator helps with that. It helps you to work backwards to figure out what the max someone can pay for something is to still be comfortable with their payment. And I use this tool for years. And this is honestly, in my honest opinion, I did 8 buyers a month myself personally for a long time. And I think this tool is the only reason why, because I would take them out of the mindset of caring what the house sticker price is and get them into, can I afford the monthly payment for the quality of life that I want? So the first question I'd ask them in a buyer consultation was the top one. What do you want your desired monthly payment to be? Right. And they just spit out a number, usually within a second. And then I really dive into that and ask them, like, what percentage of that is that of your income? Does that allow you to have date night? Does that allow you to save? Does that allow you to pay for your car payment? Does it allow you to go out on, to dinner once a week? Does it allow you to go on vacation, do activities with your kids, and really push on this? Right. And I'd get them to a number, whatever it is. Let's say it's, I don't know, 2,200. That's the number that they're comfortable with. Great. Then we'd figure out their interest rate, either by talking to their lender or getting it from them if they got a pre-approval. Then the term, obviously. The real estate taxes, again, I would just pick by the city, whatever city it is that they're working in, and go with that. Hazard insurance, I'd leave at 1.5%, especially if we're just in the early phases of looking. If you had a better quote, a more hard number, you can punch that in there. And then HOA, if they say, I don't want an HOA, great, put 0. Or if they say, I want to live in this community and there's 200 units in there, I don't care which one I end up in, I just want to end up in this community and the HOA is 250, great, I know that. Then I'd hit compute and it spits me back a number. And this number and this slider determine what they can afford. And the reason I love this is because you can say, okay, well, how much money do you want to put down? 5% down? Great. Well, then you can afford this much house. 15% down? Great. You can afford this much house. 20% down? Great. You can afford this much house. And this does 2 great things. Number one, it gives you a top negotiating number that when you go in and have to negotiate, you can't have them paying more than this because they can't afford it. Even if on paper it says they can, they don't want to afford more than this. So this gives you a kind of a hard ceiling. The other thing is it gives them the number up front, right? You're doing this in the buyer consultation before their butt has been in a house or before their feet have been in a house, because it allows them to say, okay, if that payment is important to me, we dug on that payment. We got them to that number for a reason. If that number is important, I can't pay more than this. If their top, what they can pay is $299, $523, I cannot have them looking at houses that are $325, because as soon as they do, they ain't buying anything that's $300. If they see something for $325, it's not happening. So I know, hey, my cap here is $300, right? Or maybe $305 if I'm feeling generous, but realistically, like $300, that's it. So this helps you, it helps them, it helps everyone kind of understand. So I love that calculator. Of course, again, there's a marketing piece that goes with this, right? Because there's a marketing piece for every one of them, which is also great social media content and great for open houses at this price point. Then there's the sell to net. These are for those fun sellers. Especially I like this for FSBOs and expireds. These are for the fun sellers that say, I'm only selling if I make 50,000. I don't care what anything costs or what you make. I can only sell if I make 50,000. You make everything else work, but the number is 50,000. So you plug in at the top 50,000, you put your commission in there, whatever you want to make. Again, the repairs, all the basic stuff that we did in the seller net sheet. And then we hit compute and it reverse engineers the number that, oh, I did a ridiculous number here. Let me put that back in. They want to sell to net. They want to make 50,000. I put that they didn't owe any money. And then on their loan balance, let's say they owe 150. Right. So when I hit compute, now it spits me out a number. This is the number that we would have to sell their house for to make it make sense. So this puts everything into factor. Net at close, 51 grand, balance, paying off their mortgage, prorated taxes, so covering them on taxes and then covering closing costs. This says I would have to sell their house for 223 for it to make sense. This again is great for two reasons. One, because you can just look at the comps and quickly say, can I do this? Yes or no? And two, because if you really can't get them to this number or you need to help them, you can say, listen, let's go look at the three comps that are 225 and see how you stack up to them and see if we can do this or not. And yes, then you have to drive them around for an hour of your life. But having this number being hard in front of them, like really having them understand this number and getting them in the car is going to build the trust, is going to build the relationship, and it's going to allow them to make the decision, hey, can I sell at this number? Do I want to sell at this number or not? Because they're going to go in the other houses that either make sense and are in their price point or they're not. It takes the hard work off of you and puts it in the numbers, which is always good. So I love this. And of course, again, marketing piece. And these marketing pieces are great. There's a bunch of templates for them. These marketing pieces in here are great for FSBOs and expireds. Now I'm going to take you to my favorite calculator, which is the rent versus buy. I'm an anti-rent guy and I'm big in converting renters and doing first-time home buyers and all that stuff. So I love this calculator. It helps them understand where their break-even point is. Where does it make more sense to be a buyer than be a renter? And usually in the lower price points, like under 300,000, it's almost always under 3 years. It's very frequently under 2 years. And I'll kind of show you how this works. So we say current rent. All right, what are you paying in rent currently? 2,000. Great. Home price. What are you looking at? What could you buy that would be similar to what you have? Let's say it's 200,000, right? Because maybe they're spending 2,000 a month on a nice condo or a nice townhouse. They could buy the same thing for 200 grand. Great. Down payment. Again, do they have a percentage or do they say, well, we know we have 31,000 in the bank. We're going to put that there. And then we hit compute and it spits us out some numbers and it says their break even is 2 years. So on costs after 2 years, they would have spent 48,420 if they bought and 48,600 if they rented. So that's their break even. Then we can go to payment, see roughly what their payment would be with the tax savings included. We could go to equity and say, okay, after 2 years, what kind of equity would you have if you sold? I love this one, right? Because what equity do renters have? Essentially nothing, or they have a security deposit, right? If they took care of stuff and they, were in a place that was nice and they gave them a security deposit back, they might have 1 month of rent, or maybe double month or 1 plus pet or something. So maybe they have 2,000 or 2,500, right? That could happen. It's not usually a flat zero. It's usually a small amount, but we can say, okay, great. They have 1 month's worth of equity. But if they sold after those 2 years, they get that down payment back, right? That's an equity. There was some appreciation for sure over 2 years with the rate things have been growing. There's appreciation and then there's principal pay down. So over the 2 years, they're going to get back 52 and change, right? Where if they rented, they'd get back what? Not even 5,200. Then we can do net sheet, instantly do a net sheet right away that says if they did sell at that time, even paying you full price, paying off the taxes, paying off the mortgage, everything, what would they put in their pocket? 31 grand, right? So it's like a break even, but they get their money back instead of renting. So I love these pieces because again, of course, there's marketing pieces for all of these because we have marketing stuff on all of them. And there's a ton of rent versus buy stuff. I love these ones. These are probably some of my favorite on the free section that you can look through and kind of click through and see all these. What is equity? What's the down payment? Why does it make more sense to buy than rent? Tax adjustments, all these great things. So tons of great pieces. Whether you have a specific client or not, guys, I need you to understand, you don't need to have a client today. You could just understand the idea of this, take the average rent in your area and the average sales price in your area and match those up and then use this as a marketing piece. This is easy social media, like social media 101 right here. Just take content that other people give you, break it down and do it. And then guess what? You could set this as a background on your screen and talk over this and you have a great video of why it makes more sense to rent than buy. So everything we've covered so far has been 100% free. Now we're going to switch to the paid section. And again, not forcing you to buy something here, just showing off what we got, right? So when you click on premium, if you don't have the premium section, it'll ask you if you want to make this purchase, like the in-app purchase, and you can do that. What it will do, what it will do is across the top of the page, let me get back into premium there. Across the top of the page in premium in the feature section, it will show everything that has been updated over the last month. And what we do is once a month, we do a marketing package, usually the first couple of days of the month. You'll see this one, the Thanksgiving and November marketing package. And then we update infographics, posts, stories, videos, content. There's all this stuff that comes out every month. So across the top, you'll just see all of it scrolling through. They have the green screen thing now, which is kind of fun. You can go over the front of it. There's a lot of cool stuff. So what kind of happens is it's all broken down into different sections. The first section is infographics. When we click on infographics, you're going to see a bunch of different ones. I'll click on a couple of them just so you can kind of see what they look like. And all of these are made, they look nice, they look clean. They're designed, this section that I'm in right now, these are designed to be printed out. These are great for open houses. They are great for your listing and buyer consultations. They're great for any face-to-face meeting that you're going to do where you want to look professional and have a good piece of marketing that you didn't have to create, right? You paid your 10 bucks a year or 99 cents a month and you created all these. So you see, I'm just scrolling down. There's a bunch of them. We add new ones every month. There's a FSBO one in here. There's expired ones in here. There's neighborhood reports, home reports. There's so much stuff. Steps to buying, steps to selling, step to becoming a homeowner. Lots of good stuff in here. There's enough content in here for you to have content for an entire month without having to do any work, like literally no work. You could just go in here and take these. So you get the idea, a lot in here. If you scroll all the way to the top, you're going to see Facebook posts, and it will show you all the ones that are perfectly formatted for a Facebook post, an Instagram story, an Instagram post, a Facebook story. These are all different sizes and formats. So these are pre-made, pre-sized for you. So if you took one of these and put it on an Instagram story, it would fit perfectly. You don't have to repurpose. You don't have to crop. You don't have to do anything. It's just done for you. So I love these. Next is the swipeable graphics. When I look at these are specifically made for social media. And these are made so that there's pieces of information. And then the last slide is branded to you with a kind of a cue for them to slide. So let's just pick this one. I've never looked at this one, so don't know, but 6 tips for, come on. 6 tips for loading your favorite infographic. There we go. 6 tips to win in a hot seller's market. And each slide or scroll or whatever is branded, right? And then the last one is branded to you. You can see where it kind of gives them the hint to like, to share. Your picture will be on here, and you can share this directly out to your social. And all of these that are built for social right now are also built in Spanish, and the other languages are coming, but you can see I could switch it to Spanish on the top. The other languages are coming down the pipeline in these as well, but English and Spanish work like right now today. I know that. So that I would imagine is Spanish. So when we go back again across the top, you'll see Facebook posts, stories, so all different sizes. I like this housing market quiz. They did this one in the summer. I'm hoping they do another one of these in the winter. There's some fun stuff that are designed for stories. Those of you that follow me on social know I use stories like every day. I love them. And this app designs all these things specifically for stories where you can add in like the polls and all the fun stuff. So the percentage of homes, like you can make this your question. Right, you can use this as the poll thing in social. So you can have a lot of fun with these. But I love these swipeable graphics. They're really good. Next is the filters or the lenses. These are all ways to kind of spice up and make your pictures more fun. There's a lot of sections of these. The new section is just what we have new. There's new ones in there every week. The dynamic section, I'm going to show you. I'll just go section at a time because these are fun. The new one, I don't know if I want to be the queen of multiple offers, but if there's a king one, I guess I'll take that. But now I have this photo saved for life, right? And I can use this and I can send this out and put it on whatever. And if you have your logo in here, happy Hanukkah, by the way, to anybody celebrating. I realize that's today. You can hit logo and you can add your logo and you can place that on the screen as well. So that's kind of fun. Next is the dynamic section. I like these ones because these you can kind of customize and edit. So let's say you're doing a market update, right? A market update of my Zoom call. I can take the picture, and then on the top where it says customize, I can update all of these stats, all of the ones that say market update. I can update all the stats that are across the screen there on the top. So there's a lot of cool ones for that. There's a lot of fun open house ones like this, where you can put on the number of bedrooms, the number of baths, all of your logo, information about the property. A lot of great stuff on these dynamic ones. These are all fully editable. Then we go to the rep lenses is for us. Don't worry about those. The closing ones, this is your in escrow, under contract, just sold, listing, just listed, home is where the heart is, whatever, a bunch of them. Open houses, if you're doing open houses, there's a virtual one, there's a in-person one. So if you're doing virtual or digital still, you can do that. The realtor life ones are kind of fun. It was all just like fun stuff to play around with in there. And then seasonal is always like holidays and what's going on in the world. There were some fun Veterans Day ones that I liked. There's a lot of fun stuff. So you can see a bunch of these just scrolling through them, but there's tons of them. So these filters and lenses are great. Again, if you look at the top, you'll see there's all different formats. So if you want to post to different social programs, you can format it correctly based on the size, or you can just do one, take the picture and save it in your camera roll. Next is the personalized videos. We do a new video every single month that is branded to you and sized accordingly to whatever social platform you want to use. So there's a video in there every month. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but this one is talking about housing shortage, why the numbers are what they are, what's going on. And then the last little piece of it is I can help, and then it's branded to you. If you put in all of your information, they'll get all of your stuff branded. And this, again, is formatted and set up on the top where you can download it standard as a video, as an MP4. So you can run it as a Facebook ad. You can run it as YouTube, whatever. You can do it as a Facebook post. You'll see it there, an Instagram story. So you can make these continuous Instagram stories, posts, Facebook stuff. So again, all this content, you know, when people always say they struggle with content and they have this app, I just can't figure it out because there's more content than I could ever post in my life on this app. My favorite part of the whole app, paid or free, is the lead gen calculators. Those of you that have came to my classes know I'm a lead guy. I'm a big believer in the qualities and the quantity. If you want to run a profitable real estate business, you need more leads, period. We all need more leads. That's how the business goes. And these lead generation calculators are great for that. If you hit see all, it's going to show you there's 8 different styles right now of lead generation calculators, and each one of them has between 2 and 15 different like images or views. So my favorite one, again, is the rent versus buy. Because you post these calculators, you can post them on social, you can text them directly to a client, you can email them, you can do a lot of fun stuff with them. Each one has different graphics. Probably my favorite graphic on the whole app is the money in the toilet one because it makes me laugh. And when I click on it, this is what the client would see if I either texted it to them or posted it. They would see this. And when they click on it, they're going to get this. They're going to get a little calculator that says, what's the desired home price that you want to buy? How much money do you have to put down? What's your current rent? And again, it will tell them, kind of like what we did earlier, when their break even is 1 year and 6 months. If they want to learn more about it or dive into any of these or post it on social with the hashtag or anything like that, or learn about any of the terms, if they hit yes, guess what, guys? You capture this lead. You can, this would be them filling in this information, not you as the realtor or me as the title person, right? They would fill that in, and then I'll get a text or a notification that says, Kent filled out your form. He wants to learn more about buying a house for $200,000. So to me, anything that can generate leads is always awesome. And there's enough in here where you can do one a day and cover the whole month with a lot of different graphics, as you can see. I'm just clicking through some of them so you can see. Some of them are for refi. So if there's lenders on the call, you can do refi stuff. Some of them are tied to that monthly affordability thing I was teaching you guys before. Some of them are for sellers like this. What would you make if you sold your home? We used to do these. I love this listings wanted one. First of all, this one is so cool. We used to do these ads for what your home profit would be, like how much money you would make if you sold your home today. And those were some of the best listing ads we ever ran. What your mortgage would cost, or what the rates are, or what's going to happen if the rates go up. Refi calculator. This is a good one. Lenders to use. Sell to buy. I love this one. A couple of my friends did some upsizing ads where they put in, let's just say you pick, I think it was this one, where when the client sees this, meaning the person that's thinking about selling their house sees this, they type in what they think their home is worth and then how much they owe. And then it says, great, if you sold your house today, you would net about this much money, 75 grand. And if you wanted to buy another house, how much of that would you want to use? 28 grand, great. And it would show what they can buy And when they click on see more or learn anything, you capture the lead. So a lot of great lead gen pieces in here as well that kind of just fly under the radar. So I know we covered a lot today in 45 minutes. I think this app is fantastic, not just because I work here, but because it's usable, right? There's something on here that you could use every day. You can get content every day. You can turn this into money every single day. And for those people that struggle with content or social media or what to post or what to send or what to text or what videos to make, you could just go on here and use one of these pieces of information every day and turn it into value. So I invite you guys to download this. If you don't have it already, Cindy and Kent will throw their links in the chat. Download it, use it. Again, 75% of what we covered today was free. So don't think you need to go spend money. If you want to spend the money, great. If not, all good. I get it. Whatever side of it you're on, all good. Coming up next week, we are doing why now is the best time of year to sell a house. So if you have sellers that are on the fence or you're making calls now or want to generate some seller leads, I have a whole class on why now is the time to sell, and I'm going to deliver that for you guys next week. So same time next week. I am in each of your markets again before the end of the year. We're still doing some business planning. We're still doing some prospecting classes, and we have a lot of fun stuff coming up for next year.